I oppose that new trail. We already got a trail down there already, you know? What's the sense of having them tear up more land, which is supposedly ag land? You know, it's supposed to be preserved. You know, they're going to start tearing up stuff over there, and then who knows what kind of damage it's going to do to a already fragile ecosystem down there. You know, people have the right to go to that beach, and I feel my right was denied when these people had me arrested for trespassing when I was just going down to the beach for swim and surf. I don't understand why these people want to be that way when the people don't bother them. The noise, I don't understand. They live so high on the hill. I don't see how they can complain about noise and parking. People don't block the road. They know not to block the road. And if people ask me to park, you know, I'll let them park. But I tell them, you know, as long as you leave enough room for emergency vehicles to get by, you know, that's good enough for me. So I'll let people park because that's a nice beach. A lot of people like to enjoy that place. But being denied going to that beach for a whole year was pretty devastating to me. Watching people going down there to enjoy the beach, and I cannot go. I don't understand. I believe that everybody has a right to use that beach because they've been using it for so long, especially for my family. We live right there. I was trying to be nice to these people and help them out, but that's disrespect to me. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your testimony. Laura, you can testify, please.
Our next testifier is Papaikou Beach, representing Hillary Defense Fund, speaking in support of Bill 333.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Appreciate the opportunity to give comment regarding this additional language to Article 44, Bill 333. I think it's about time that we Hawaiians get some recognition, especially with barrels that deals with moral integrity. And I think there should be something everyone should respect and accept. I appreciate Dominic in trying to add this language to this bill. And I think it should stand. It's more of a support for the county who gives permits but never really checks if there are violations. So this commission would be a watchdog to the state and to the county. And would definitely apply for this position as a commissioner. And I hope that the county really looks at moral integrity as a reason for accepting this language to this bill. And I also support Resolution 308-12, acquisition of private lands for public access. As a native Hawaiian, and everybody knows we've lost our beaches and access. If that's the only way we've got to do it today is to buy it back, then I'm for supporting of purchasing access rights. It's what our future needs, it's what we need now. And we should have the original trails as it was before, accept it and not really make new things, but accept the old ones that still have access to their place and people still use it. So that's my testimony this morning.
Okay, thank you very much for your testimony. Let's go into open view. Jenny, please introduce your testifier, please.
Good morning, council members. Today from Ka'u, we have Mr. Bill Robinson, and he will be speaking on bill numbers 306, 323, 324, and 325.
Good morning,
Thank you. Good morning.
I'm Gil Robinson, resident of Ocean View. Bill 306, pay as you throw or trash disposal, is widely accepted on the
Jenny,
mainland,
one second,
and would likely be
excuse me,
okay
sorry
with most residents
sir,
of Hilo.
sorry to interrupt. Can we adjust the
Rural
camera
residents
in Ocean View? Can we adjust the camera because we can't see the testifier?
Okay.
Jenny, can you do that?
Sure.
Or have him scoot over to his left.
You want to scoot over just a little bit? Thank you.
There we go.
From the
A little more, Jenny.
Would you like him to start over?
Yes, and have him move over just a little more to the left. He is historically, he'll go down as the second testifier to ever testify from that district using Skype. So we want to make sure we have him on the record. There you go. There you go, sir.
Okay, good morning, County Council. I'm Gil Robinson, a resident of Ocean View, and would like to comment on 4 of the bills. Bill 306, pay as you throw for trash disposal, is widely accepted on the mainland and would likely be okay with most residents of Hilo and Kona. Rural residents of Ocean View, however, with much lower household incomes, have a far greater opportunity to toss their trash in a hookah. Those who do so could save perhaps $200 a year. This bill would likely have unattended and unacceptable consequences here in Ocean View. Could council waive fees in rural areas such as Ocean View, or perhaps the council could consider adopting Oregon's program whereby fees are waived for those who separate recyclables and deposit in appropriate bins. Bill 324, a $10 million expansion of water distribution for South Point Water System. That's $10 million to benefit approximately 500 people, or about $20,000 per person. Why so much or so little? Bill 23, another $10 million to extend water distribution in Kahu, with nothing being allocated for Ocean View. The majority of Kahu's population lives in Ocean View, and I don't understand why so much money is being appropriated to benefit so few in outlying communities. Finally, Bill 325 appropriates $5 million for transfer station repairs. Thus, Ocean View community is left waiting for their station, while others who already have a station get a $5 million upgrade. I'm pleased that the county is funding improvement projects in Kahu District, but wish the council would consider allocating at least a portion of these funds for Ocean View, where the majority of the population lives. Mahalo.
Thank you very much for your testimony. I really appreciate it. Let's move here to Kona. If I could ask Terry Napiahi to come forward to the table, please. And also, Justin, did you want to speak? Justin Avery, did you want to speak after all the testifiers in Hilo? Okay, very good. If I could ask Chris Ewing to come to the table as well. Our next testifier here in Kona is Terry Napiahi to speak on Bill 333. Aloha, good morning. Need to turn the mic on by pressing that button on the very bottom. There we go.
Good morning.
Yeah, bring the mic a little closer to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, Council. I added last minute also Bill 308.
Okay, I'll put that down.
Yes, please. I'd like to support that bill and believe that access to our sea and our ocean is very important to our people because of the subsistence gathering, and I believe that it's been done traditionally for many years. So I'm in support of Bill 308. I am also here in behalf of supporting Chapter 2, Article 44, and its addition to add to this bill, and which is known as Hawaii County Cultural Resource Bill. And we're adding the addition to, good morning, to have a say of home rule or county voice, allowing our people here to address our EV issues. And reasons for having this is currently the problems that we face legislatively in the state with our burial council. And I have listed some of these problems that are currently being addressed. One, having no quorum. The other is allowing administration to make rules without the public knowing. And you know, it is a problem for our outer island people to go and fly, get a ticket to go to chase legislation, because you know, chasing after a bill that they have put through, like we've had at the beginning of this year, where they tried to eliminate the burial councils on every outer island. And you know, that is something that I think is a problem for people that are very close to the EV issues here on the Big Island. That is a really big problem. And with this council in the county, we could be able to enhance their powers in the best interest of our EV kupuna. And I think this is the reason why a commission should be done for our people. It'll give our people who are very close to the issues here on the island to have a say. And it's not here in duplication of the burial council, but it is also enhancing them with doing the best we can for our iwi kupuna. And I think the unfamiliarity of our spirituality to developers, to the landowners that have just recently received the land of our spirituality should be addressed. You know, like Buddhists, they care very dearly for their iwi and for the people, for their family and ancestors that have passed. They still deal with their iwi in niches, and I believe that if they familiarize themselves with our spirituality, our traditional customary ways, it'll be important.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you very much for your testimony. Really appreciate
Oh,
it.
and I have a petition for, real quick, of all the Hawaiians that I went to talk to in Kilkaha, Puna, and Kona, and Laipua. So I would like to present that
Okay.
for those.
If you could present it to staff, and the staff will make sure that we get copies of it here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your testimony. Our next testifier here in Kona is Chris Ewing to speak on Resolution 853-12. Aloha.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the council. I'm here to speak in favor of the acquisition of a public access easement to Papaikou Beach, Resolution 308-12. I've spoken on this to the council quite a few times before, and I don't have a lot that's new to say. So, and I know you have a long day here in your last session of this current council. So. I'm going to keep it short. I urge the council to, and as you have in the past, continue to support this resolution. There are a lot of side issues to this, and if there are any questions, I'll be here. I'll be happy to answer them, but I don't want to take time up on things that may not particularly concern issues that may not particularly concern members of the council. I also wanted to recognize that this is the last meeting for this current council, and that 6 of the council members are off on to other endeavors after this meeting. I want to thank all of you, and especially the 6 who are not continuing on, for your years of service to the county and on the council. It's a difficult job, but you're always faced with tough decisions. And agree or disagree, I think I hope that you all know that the public appreciates what you've done and recognizes your service and wishes you all the best in your endeavors onward in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir, for your testimony. Let's move over to Pahoa. I believe we have one more testifier, Barbara Pahoa, is that correct?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, we actually have 3 more testifiers.
Okay, very good. We'll go with your next 2 testifiers.
Okay, so our next testifier is Uncle Sam Kalebeiki, and he will be speaking in support of Bill 333, representing Kupuna Iwi.
Thank you.
Hello, Kako.
Aloha.
I'm here this morning to express my concern of the burial sites throughout the archipelago. I, for one, my personal
We can't hear Uncle Sam.
Oh, hello, testing. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Go ahead, Uncle Sam. We'll start all over. Go ahead.
Hello, Kako. Good morning to all. My main purpose here is to speak of the Kupuna Iwi. Personally, myself, on where I come from, on Maunawili, Oahu, we have at our Aina 99 burials of our Kupuna Iwi, and we still protect them, and that's why we have 99, because they stopped burial in 63. You got to go to the cemetery. We bury on our land because it shows ownership of the land. The reason now so many of our burial sites are dug up is because of the people that's in control. Number one, let me say what's wrong with the U.S. What's wrong, and it's brought over here. Number one is their politicians. Number two is the insurance companies. Number three is their lawyers. Number four is their military. They messed up North America so bad that they've moved over to Hawaii. When they came to Hawaii, they brought with them greed, hate, and jealousy. So now they got Hawaiians jealous of Hawaiians. This is how it was designed. We don't go up and go to Japan and dig up Hirohito. We don't go to the North America and dig up Washington and Lincoln, Robert E. Lee. When you come here, this is the only place we have in the world. Everybody comes here. But you dig up our Eevee and just destruction, just rip up the bones. They're just as precious to us as your Eevees are to you. So, you know, I'm saying that the council, the government that's here now, they favor the developer because that's who's causing the destruction. So we need to do the research, get the archaeologists in there right away, and find these Eevees before you go in and desecrate the land. The Eevee shows ownership of the land. And you people, you Mahaoyas, and we don't go and dig your Eevee up. What would happen if you dug up the Pacific National military up in Punch Bowl? A lot of grief. But when you dig up a Hawaiian, that's no problem. Just like how, and you know what? This is not going to stop. This is not going to stop. This, all this, what we're doing now.
Please summarize, Uncle.
Oh, yeah, just pay attention to detail and respect. The main thing is respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony, Aloha. Barbara, your next testifier, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our next testifier is Michael Hollinger, and he is speaking in support of Bill 333.
Thank you, Aloha.
Aloha. Fellow council members, thank you for all the time and effort that you guys have put. This is an extremely, extremely important issue that's really, really close to my heart. Do this, do this, do this, do this. I'm not Native Hawaiian, but all of my closest lovers and my friends and people that love me are Native Hawaiian, and I stand with those issues of the Iwi Kupuna, and I am disgusted and torn apart seeing the developers and how they so nonchalantly come in here and just tear things up. Down in Lower Puna, you got these houses, these millionaires that come in and they just tear up the ground and they rip Iwi out and they try to make it like, we don't know, we won't tell anybody, and there's no responsibility. So you as a council, you guys need to be the ones responsible for this. You guys are responsible for holding respect and making sure that everything is taken care of and everything is right and everything is pono. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Let's move on to Philo. Laura, your next two testifiers, please.
Our next two testifiers is Malcolm Ono to comment on Resolution 308-12 Draft 2, to be followed by Kari Horton.
Aloha, good morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is Malcolm Ono. Before I start, please make sure that you have this in your hands. My name is Malcolm Ono, live in Mill Camp, Papaikou. I have lived here since the first grade. To me, as far as Resolution 308-12, I think it is foul already. You know, it's like everyone agrees, and that includes Jim and Charlene, that the Papaikou Beach belongs to everyone. And I think now it is time to address the needs of the beach users as well as the needs of the Mill Camp community. Because the beach is widely used, I think we can all agree that it can be called a park, just like a baseball park, a soccer park, or a gym. And what do all parks have? It's parking space. Where is the parking for Papaikou Beach? People who use the beach now are going onto private property homes to use as parking. This is not correct nor safe for anyone. And I think the county should be providing the parking. For example, when cars parked along the side of Mill Road, you know, I have seen fire trucks and ambulances have a hard time turning on Mill Road, which is considered a substandard road. And also, these same beach users, who I don't have anything against, are going onto private property to use water to rinse themselves. And it's like, I don't blame them for wanting to rinse themselves after they go down to the beach. You know, like, who doesn't want to rinse themselves? But I think the homeowners at Mill Camp Papaikou should not have to be paying for this. It should be the responsibility of all of us who make up the county. Jim and Charlene see these problems and have offered to build a parking lot and a new trail on their property. So I strongly recommend that Hawaii County work together with Jim, Charlene, and Mrs. Shropshire to quickly move forward and build a dedicated parking space, a new trail, and a safe road for the enjoyment of all. This solution should be a win-win for all parties. With this resolution 308-12, everyone loses. To me, the county and taxpayers, if this goes through, will get an inferior product. The beach goers will have no parking. The Mill Camp owners ultimately, you know, like, are paying for
You summarize, sir.
or inconvenience. So let's make the right choice and go with the alternate side and make everyone like a winner. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Your next testifier, Nora, please.
Our next testifier is Corey Harden, speaking in support of Resolution 308 and also speaking on Bill 266 in opposition.
And,
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Corey Harden for Sierra Club Okalua Group, opposing Bill 266 on ag tourism. First, I'd also like to thank all you folks for your years of service in a job where somebody's always mad at you. So appreciate your taking that. On the ag tourism, we know you've been working on it a long time, and I think there's been some good revisions made to the bill, but we're still concerned about unintended impacts, especially since other counties plan to follow whatever we do. I copied in my written testimony the concerns that I kind of keep bringing back, and some of them I started in April at the Planning Commission, so it's not like they're new concerns, and hopefully you have a copy. Kind of the high points, will off-site and off-island interest be allowed to operate the tourism side of ag tourism? Will large numbers of visitors and cars overrun rural neighborhoods with no warning and no way to stop them? Will emergency responders be hampered by traffic or bad roads? How many ag tourism operations will be allowed in one neighborhood? Will there be more theft and trespassing at neighbors' places? Will there be noise problems? And if roads are owned by community associations or maybe several people, as often happens in rural places, who has liability and who takes care of the extra wear and tear on roads? And last, will we end up with higher prices for ag land, you know, as people buy up for tourism, and then higher prices for food? So thanks for your work on this. And Sierra Club supports Resolution 308 about access at Papaikou. We really commend you for all your efforts to resolve this. And we do commend the landowners for building a safe route to the beach, offering to pay for an alternate route, opening the current route to the public on most days, and trying to keep the beach safe and clean. But there's still conflicts over access, and we think this resolution is the best option. It's not about a quick fix for the current cast of characters in the next few years. It's about a long-term solution that will work for generations and for years to come. We'd like to see access comparable to other beaches, and with no threat that just one or two people could suddenly lock the gate forever. I think we need to set the precedent of using eminent domain since the law allows it. That could help avoid a costly and divisive court case. Do want to say that Sierra Club National is aware of this issue, and it is possible they would assist if necessary. And we also note that access to the river could become an issue. Passing this resolution wouldn't stop us from exploring other solutions before the eminent domain actually takes effect. And we could create the only official public access in a stretch of shoreline 3.5 miles long, and access to one of only 4 major sand pebble beaches in 50 miles of Hamakua coast. It's a pretty unique place. You've seen all the support for this resolution. For Honolulu, remember that was almost lost to a hydroelectric plant, but the community rallied to protect it, and we know what a beautiful and well-kept park it is today. And Onamea was temporarily lost behind razor wire and fences, and people who spoke out were targeted by threats. Today, there's still scattered reports of guards stopping people, but for the most part, people can go to Onamea. So please don't lose Papaikou. Please support access. Thank you.
We'll come back to the corner. If I could ask Teresa McConnell to come forward to the table, please, along with Shane Nelson. Thank you very much. Our first speaker here in Kona is Teresa McConnell to speak in support of Bill 333. Aloha.
Excuse me, Dominic, may I allow Shane to speak first?
Okay. Okay, very good. Shane Nelson to speak in support of Bill 333. Aloha.
Aloha, Chair, council members. I speak in support of Bill 333, and the reason why is because, like what Ms. Napiahe had mentioned, we've been chasing legislation on these efforts with no quorums, issues between the county communicating with the state. And one of the things that I feel that the county can do right now with this commission is to fill the gap between the state, the developer, the community, and the county council, the planning commission. So I speak in support. One of the things that I'd like to also see probably in the next reading would possibly create a timely manner. You know, there's always been some sort of delay with the communication process. I mean, I'm not sure how that would be included, but I think that if the county council would be able to create that sort of urgency from the county level to the state, because the state seems to be always 2 to 3 months behind schedule. That creates a lot of frustration for your constituents as well here on the Big Island. So I feel that we can take a look at these things and tighten up on the gaps. More than welcome to submit some written testimony the next time when Kalamaya came in a little bit late on this. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thank you very much for your testimony. Our next testifier is Teresa McConnell to speak in support of Bill 333. Aloha.
Aloha. Mahalo for having us here. I speak in support of Bill 333. I speak in support of I'm representing myself, but in representing myself, I represent my ohana. I represent my son, whose name is Umi Aliloa, who is the 14th descendant. We have a cultural landscape throughout Hawaii named this moku, and it's all over the place. And when there's inadvertent fines at this local level, we have nothing in place for its protection. And this is a start. Mahalo. And I feel that everyone who sits on the council would not allow anything less than support and protection. And it's not about preservation, because to me, preservation becomes recreation. This is not recreation. This is emotional. This is family. This is a lineage of what we truly are and what brings people here. It is about Hawaii Native. It's about ancient times that is inadvertently discovered and is something we should treasure. So I hope that in this first reading, we have another opportunity to bring other NHOs, other Native Hawaiian organizations, to come and support this bill. And if it is in your favor to seek more consultant as to the final wording of how things should come about, I'm hoping that you would come out and seek out the Native Hawaiian organizations to be a part of it also. I ask you for support also for this bill. Mahalo.
Mahalo, thank you very much for your testimony.
Chair, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see, Barbara, looks like you have one more testifier in Paho, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, very good. Please introduce your next testifier.
Thank you. Our next testifier is E.K. Payne, and he will be speaking in support of Bill 333.
Thank you. Aloha.
Good morning, Chairman Yagong and Council. Happy holidays to you all. I'm going to speak very shortly. I'm in support of Bill 333 because I believe that there really should be a commission on our iwi kapuna. For far too long, there have been many developers and people, especially in Puna, not just Lower Puna, but also in Upper Puna, who just build on top of our iwi without letting anybody know what's going on, or begin to just take things from ancestral homelands and areas where people need to be aware of the things that are going on. For far too long in Puna, there are builders who find tubes that have bones in them and have other cherished things from families, like especially down in Kianipoko, where we live. This is a natural practice of developers to just either take the bones out or cover them over and then build their house right on top. So I'm in support of there being a commission that will get our iwi addressed quicker than it is being addressed at present time. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Let's move back to Pino. Nora, your next testifier, please.
Our next testifier is Susan Monroe, speaking in opposition to Resolution 308.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. If you get press the button. Good morning. Thank you. Please think carefully before you cast your vote on this. This will be the first time that the county council has voted to take land away from an unwilling landowner. And most landowners would have just locked their gates. Jim and Charlene love their land, and they've shared it since they bought it. They built the trail, they landscaped it, and they opened it to the community. Because the trail is close to their house, they have rules. And because these days landowners have to worry about lawsuits and liability, but the rules aren't so very different from the county's own rules, and they're not different from the rules that you and I might have if it was our own property. But there are a few who think that this isn't enough, that they want what they want it, when they want it, regardless of the landowner's rights. Maybe the way Charlene enforced the rules wasn't to everybody's taste, and maybe if these landowners were more relaxed, they would have made more friends. But this shouldn't be a popularity contest. These owners have always provided beach access 12 hours a day. 363 days a year. They're working with the community to allow fishermen access at night. In effect, you're considering this extraordinary step just so that people can use the trail for an additional 2 days a year and at night. And remember, Jim and Charlene are willing to sell the county a different route, one with easier beach access and parking. You don't have to take this land. The voters elected you to speak for the community. Please do it thoughtfully. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Laura, your next testifier.
Our next testifier is Noelia Rodriguez, representing Global Hope, speaking in support of Resolution 308, Draft 2.
Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you very much for being so patient and considerate of these issues. I am one of the faculty advisors for Global Hope, and it's an organization that has 800 people on its mailing list. We also have been doing the Earth Day Fair for years and years. And we took this issue 2.5 years ago, thinking that this was an important social justice issue. I was surprised at the passion that exists about this issue in this community. When we started out to do the petition, I thought, gee, it'd be great if we could get 1,000 signatures. I come today with 5,485 signatures. And the reason for that is that people were overwhelmingly enthusiastic about signing this petition. This is a really passionate issue in our community. Right now we've given out over 400 armbands, and this is at the hearing, not generally. It's amazing how important this is to the people. I want to thank you guys, all of you, those of you who are leading, and for your patience. I think my sitting through the last hearing on this gave me a real view of the lives you lived and the service that you gave. I want to thank you for that. But given that this will be the last hearing, I think it's especially important not to defer on this issue, because you have heard testimony that's irreplaceable. The 300 people that came out to the hearing at Papaikou Beach, we gave out 285 armbands at that time. The last time, I don't know, it was over 40 people testified. We gave out over 100 armbands at the last hearing. We've been considering this thing, working on it for 2.5 years. And when I talked to the local people, they've been working on it and struggling with it for 15 years. And this isn't a personal issue about this couple. This is an issue of not car access, but getting a public easement for pedestrians to be able to go down Mill Road and down the path to the beach. That's what this is all about. And I just want to thank you guys so much. All the years that you've been working and the efforts that you've made, I want to thank you so much. I want you to also know that Global Hope and I and my husband are very willing, ready to keep working on it, to basically see it through to a compassionate, caring, and just conclusion. Even, especially if we win today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much for your testimony. One more testifier signed up, but Justin, everybody, you're asking to speak at the end of the testifier. Is there anyone else here in Kona that wants to testify? Because if you do, please sign up. I need you to sign up. Okay. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and move back to Hilo, and we'll just continue with Hilo until such time that I come back to your Kona. So go ahead, Laurie. Go ahead and introduce your testifiers in succession.
Okay, my next testifier is Michael Last, speaking in opposition to Bill 306, to be followed by Manuel Sarmi.
Good morning.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. My name is Michael L. Last. I'm a resident of Kau, Ocean View, but these remarks apply island-wide. This is in reference to Bill 306, Pay As You Throw. You should think long and hard when considering this bill. First, if implemented, it will not burden me or place a hardship upon myself. However, it will modify the behavior of others. That is, an increase in illegal dumping. Look at what occurs now at closed transfer stations. When they do open, the first thing in the morning the employees see is trash waiting against the fence of numerous transfer stations. And then there is the issue of abandoned vehicles. If I may, look at the quantity of bottles and cans littering our landscape in the period post-bottle bill. It has been greatly reduced because of one item, and that is the refundable deposit. May I suggest that this abandoned vehicle situation, be treated like the bottle bill? There should be an institution of a refund deposit. But unlike the bottle bill, it must be fully refundable. Not like the bottle bill currently, where you pay 6.5 cents per item and you receive 5 cents back upon the return. So here is what I would think would be apropos and meeting this issue of the abandoned vehicles. We should institute where you first register a vehicle will require a deposit of an amount stipulated by law. And it will be fully refundable, not partially, not anything withheld, fully refundable if, one, the vehicle is transferred to another owner and you produce the title transfer documentation. Two, you ship the vehicle off island and you produce shipping papers. Three, you destroy the vehicle. How? With certification by a recycler or trash hauler. Those would be the only instances where you get your fully refundable deposit returned. And trust me, if a vehicle, if it's abandoned and there's a $200 or whatever price tag on it, it will not be abandoned. Someone will haul it away and claim the deposit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Go ahead, Nora.
Our next speaker is Manuel Sarmiento, speaking in support of Resolution 308, Draft 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Manuel Sarmi. I'm originally from Papaikou, and I'm born and raised over there all my life. And I'll be 78 in the 25th. So all my life, living over there, my dad was a plantation worker, where he do all that butterfly catching rats like that, and working for the plantation. And what do you call it? I used to follow him all over the place where he would catch rats. But the idea is, they don't know that my mom told me that you see when you go down there to fish or whatever, there's a tower over there. I have two of my brothers died over there, and she doesn't know what's a graveyard. It's an old Japanese graveyard, and I've been fishing over there for many, many years, both sides, by the graveyard and on the park down the Sandy Beach. The Sandy Beach was my famous place of catching moi and papio. A lot of guys that don't know, that you see all the rivers over there, all the rivers going Hamakua, get all spirits that they don't know. Sometimes when you walk during the night or in the evening, you get chicken skin. Why? The spirit is watching you. You always ask for help. I doing my job. Please kukuha me. I doing my thing. The river right there, my only nephew died over there. up the river. Why? The big water was coming. He was going home already. He fell down and conked his head over there. My brother and my sister was going crazy looking for him and my nephew because my nephew was with him and thought he was playing around. So the kind what it called the rescue came and found that he fell down and conked his head and the current will bring him down in a cave like. But although what do you call that is past. I just like the rights of going fishing down there or go swimming or go surfing. But the person that you see, the old man over there, it's my brother. He's 83 years old. He fish almost every day down there. He cannot hear right now, and he's a very slow reader. So
Summarize.
so what I know, what I like you guys to do is get our rights to go down because I go to Maui and there always beach rights to go down fishing or hunting. I do a lot of throw net and no net, throw net guy. That's why. So thank you. I hope you guys best.
Our next speaker is Kalani Lyman, speaking in support of Resolution 308, Draft 2.
Aloha Council members, my name is Kalani Lyman. Thank you for allowing us to move along this bill. And what was brought up at the ending of the last meeting, it's all about upholding the law. We live on one small island with few resources. We can't go any kind of place. So that's why the law was made to support our access for gathering rights and also for recreational purposes. Since the last meeting we had over here, we've been talking. I met with Charlene personally, and we also had a Rural South Hilo meeting. And even though she don't agree with us on certain issues, we've been talking about how we can move forward. We passed this eminent domain by upholding the law for our future generations. But we can start, we're already working together on how we're going to support these and regulate the beach, talk about the pedestrian traffic which we're proposing. Because like right now, if you ask somebody, we allow family, friends, people that respect to park there. But like any place, you're gonna get a lot of people. And that's what I told Charlene. Instead of you always calling the police on us when we're having a family gathering, you gotta call the police on the people making pilikia. But we agreed on working together on this.
Yes, we can.
Okay, go ahead. Nora, we've lost audio once again on this line.
Okay.
I can hear you. Kalani, go ahead and speak, Kalani.
Okay.
Okay, we can hear you. Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
right on. I was offered one key, for the gate and whatnot, but like I said, I'm here to fight for public access. A key is not a right, it's a favor. And 2 days from now, I get in a disagreement with her. I cannot go down, she changes the law. My grandkids right now, they're not guaranteed a right. With this, like we said, is upholding the law, and we gotta support the law. And as far as the new trail that they're proposing, like Manin said, my grandmother taught me too. I go fish that area they call Akasho, and they moved the headstones. They didn't move all the graves from before. And I had a mean instance when I went walk through there. My hair's been stand up, and was during a drought season. 3 weeks never rained. Mud footprints for about 30 feet down the pavement to the sewer plant. And every footprint, the mud never faded, was perfect, the footprint. Right there, I gave my column eyes. But what I'm saying is, if we're going to go propose one new trail, then we're going to dig up into graves, lawsuits, and everything. So I support keeping this resolution alive and supporting and upholding the law. Mahalo to all you council members from Mauhana and all the people who've been helping us along the way. Aloha.
Nora.
Our next speaker is John Johnson, speaking in support of Resolution 308, Draft 2, to be followed by Brent Norris.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you, Dominic, and council members for allowing me to speak before you this morning. In regards to the beach area of the old Papaikou Mill, first, there are very few areas like this beach on this island. Second,
Nora?
Yes, Chair Yagong?
Nora, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you from Hilo.
Okay, when Mr. Johnson started, and we completely lost audio right from the very beginning, so let's ask him to start again, and, Jeff, can you when those happen?
Start over. Start over.
all right, I want to thank the council for allowing me to present my comments this morning in regards to the beach area of old Papaikou Mill. First, there are very few areas like this beach on this island. Second, areas such as this beach area are very important in the lives of the local people, which makes access so important. To the local people, beaches like this are so important because this is where they can go to relax, fish, swim, or surf. This has been a way of life for local people for years. Long before people from other places in this world started moving here to live. Why should access to this beach not be controlled today by the county? Who should better understand the needs of the local people? When my family moved here 40 years ago by choice and not by invitation, our family understood among ourselves that we would learn to live as they lived here, or we'd go back to Kansas where we came from. It was not for us to expect anything different, such as the local people learning to live like we had lived in Kansas. My question is, why did Jim and Charlene purchase 16 acres by the beach, which also included the site of the old mill and remains of the mill, where some of the remains exist today? They had built a house on some of the ground where the old mill did stand. They did make some improvements to the trail which crosses their property to the beach, but they have retained control of access. Is this house that they built their home? Their mailing address is in Canada. Thank you for letting me present some of my thoughts on this matter. And happy holidays.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Nora, your next testifier, please.
Our next testifier is Brent Norris, speaking in support of Resolution 308-12, Draft 2.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Aloha. Mahalo, Chairman Yagong and County Council members. Thanks so much for all your work. I know that most of you will be on to bigger and better things, so thank you for that service. Thanks for giving me a chance to talk about 308-12. I'm not a resident of Papaikou. I live in Mountain View. Papaikou is one of those very special places on the island to go surf for me. And I haven't been able to surf there in the last couple of years. I just don't want to take the chance of getting arrested. I've seen the gates, so I don't go down. And I like to go down to the beach whenever I want. And it's my understanding in the Hawaii Constitution that beaches and rivers are public property in Hawaii. One of the things that I'm having trouble understanding specifically is how someone using a 100-year-old trail to get to the beach could actually be arrested for trespassing and doing so. One of the Hawaii revised statutes that I came across, 115-9, specifically states that a person commits the offense of obstructing access to public property if the person by action or by having installed a physical impediment intentionally prevents a member of the public from traversing 1, a public right-of-way, 2, a transit area, 3, a public transit corridor, or 4, a beach transit corridor. goes on to state that, and thereby obstructs access to and along the sea, the shoreline, or any inland public recreational area. B, physical impediments that may prevent traversing include, but are not limited to, the following. 1, gates. We know there's a gate. 2, fences. There's a fence. 3, walls. We know there's a wall. You've had an opportunity to tour the property, I hope. 4, constructed barriers. 5, rubbish. 6, security guards. 7, guard dogs, animals. 8, landowners, human-induced, enhanced, or unmaintained vegetation that interferes or encroaches within beach transit corridors. C, obstructing access to public property is a misdemeanor. D, minimum fines for violation under this section shall be as follows. Number 1, $1,000 for a second conviction, and number 2, $2,000 for any conviction after a second conviction. And in this section, a landowner means the record owner of the property or the record owner's agent, including lessee, tenant, property manager, or trustee. This person means natural person, legal entity. You can read that at 115-9, and I recommend doing so because I think that we're actually bringing action from the police against the wrong people. Here it specifically states what obstruction is, who the obstructor is, and what the impediment is to the access. So I'd like for you to consider that. I'd like for you to have a great Thanksgiving, and maybe you can do it on the beach somewhere.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Laura, go ahead and introduce your next 2 testifiers, and then we're going to go to Ocean View. There's another testifier in Ocean View.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Lenore.
Our next speaker will be Martin Berger, speaking in support of Resolution 308-12, Draft 2, to be followed by Ronald Fujiyoshi.
Good morning, council members. My name is Martin Berger, and I am an attorney, a landowner. I've been a taxpayer and a surfer here in Hilo for over 10 years. There are many issues, as you can hear, many of which I'd like to raise regarding the resolution, but since I only have 3 minutes, given my background as a lawyer, I feel I should probably just talk to you quickly about the legal issues. In the last council meeting, I had a chance, barely had a chance to review all the relevant laws regarding shoreline access, and I only cited the law I was aware of. Since that meeting, I've had more time to review the legal issues and like to share with you what I believe are the most important legal issues involving this matter. There's a lot of state statutes and county ordinances regarding shoreline access, but I believe the relevant ones, and particularly the most important ones, are contained in Chapter 115 of the state statutes. This chapter includes Hawaii Revised Statutes, which we usually shorten as HRS, sections 115-1 through 115-10. This chapter contains the state's primary laws addressing public beach access. It's titled Public Access to Coastal and Inland Recreational Areas. I'll only present to you what I believe are the most relevant sections of this chapter. Chapter 115 explicitly states that there is public frustration with the inaccessibility to recreation areas, which you've obviously heard. It also says that, therefore, this chapter attempts to take steps to guarantee the public's right to access to these areas. It does not limit the public to certain members of the public, but the public in general. Hawaii Revised Statute 5 gives the counties the responsibility to condemn property to establish corridors, just as we're talking here, which are at least 6 feet wide, which topography doesn't permit a natural corridor. Section 7 of Hawaii Revised Statute 115 mandates the Department of DLNR, you're familiar with it, and county agencies to collaborate and match funds for acquiring access, and states that the counties are responsible for development and maintenance of these right-of-ways and public transit corridors, Significantly, HRS 115.9 provides for a penalty, as Mr. Norris mentioned, regarding enforcement on owners for obstructing access to public property. It does not just include fines, it's also a misdemeanor, okay? So it does involve criminal issues here. Now, as a landowner, I recognize the landowner's concerns. I'm not necessarily in favor of providing or enforcing misdemeanors or penalties. Luckily,
Summarize, sir.
Certainly. If you look at this resolution, It provides a solution for this problem and empowers the county to negotiate with these owners in an attempt to resolve this issue prior to eminent domain action. If this negotiation is successful between the county and the members, this will become enforceable. If we just do what they say, which is basically, look, we'll work it out with the public, it will allow the owners to change whatever rules they want. So,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. I encourage you all of you. I was going to talk about PASH. I've spoken with Councilmember Yoshimoto about this. I'm available at any time afterwards to talk to you about this, but I do urge you all to vote to pass Resolution 308-12. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Go ahead, Nora, your next testifier, then we'll go to Ocean View.
Okay, our next testifier will be Ronald Fujiyoshi, and he will be speaking in support of Resolution 308-12 Draft 2, as well as Bill number 333.
Thank you. Follow up.
Good morning, council members. I want to add my voice in saying mahalo to those of you, especially who are leaving the council, and thank you for all your hard work in service to the public. I wanted to speak first in strong support of Bill 333, which amends the Hawaii County Code relating to the Hawaii County Cultural Resources Commission. I understand this commission was the result of a bill submitted by Emily Naioli. I believe this amendment improves this commission by looking for members who have special interest in traditional Hawaiian burial practices as practiced prior to foreign contact. This amendment is fitting with the Hawaii State Constitution, Article 12, Section 7, on traditional and customary rights, which reads, "The state reaffirms and shall protect all rights customarily and traditionally exercised for subsistence, cultural and religious purposes, and possessed by Ahupua'a tenants who are descendants of native Hawaiians who inhabited the Hawaiian Islands prior to 1778. This amendment and the Commission strengthens home rule, helping residents of Hawaii Island to determine their own future. I understand there was a bill in the last state legislature that attempted to eliminate the burial councils on each island and collapsing all the burial councils into just one burial council for all of Hawaii. This amendment helps to ensure that proper burial practices will be followed under the guidance of qualified people from Hawaii Island. That's on Bill 333. Now, if I may, I want to express also my support for Resolution 308-12 Draft 2. Putting aside all the legalities relating to eminent domain, the main issue for me is access by the public to a well-known beach at Papaikou. Unlike in North America, which includes Canada, and elsewhere, land title in Hawaii was established by Kamehameha III in the Great Mahele of 1848, and I tried to do due diligence in studying that. In the Mahele, the tenants living on the land were given specific rights. The Kingdom of Hawaii laws protected the rights of tenants and residents, access along traditional trails, and paths to go fishing and for recreation. I and my family have been to the beach in Papaikou. It was obvious that we walked along a traditional trail down to the beach. I believe this resolution preserves the traditional right of the public to access the beach for fishing and recreation. I also think that it is in keeping with special case law, Pele Defense Fund versus Patty, which recognized traditional access and gathering rights, and the past decision that was mentioned earlier, and I should credit one of the defendants who's the outgoing council member, Angel Pilago. So I think the action of this resolution fits in perfectly with the rights as recognized by law in the past.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Let's go over to Ocean View. Jenny, if you could introduce your next testifier, please.
Thank you very much. Today we have Mr. Jen One, and he's going to be speaking in support of resolution number 308-12. He's opposed to bill number 306 and in support of bill number 286.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. In regards to Papaikou, I was only able to see your discussion for the first time this morning. It started at midnight. I got up at about 30, and you guys were already being played for the first time on the table. And so it's hard for me to add anything that I've said before, because I don't know what you said at your last meeting. Nobody does. So this is difficult. And what I had done, I looked through some of my old notes and regarding John Cross. He and Chris Manfredi are tied together with the Hanawako thing. And then and Chris Manfredi, he's tied into this conglomerate on the mainland. Philip Kenner, and then Kenner owns 3 other concerns in besides Chris Manfredi's coffee farm. So there's a lot under the surface here. You got to peel that onion back and let us know what's happening. I think it's just like an apple. It's rotten to the core. So I'll go on to the pay as you throw, and then this is a green. Somebody wants to get their green badge on their green uniform. They got to get the pay as you throw badge. The other one is the bus. They got to get their hub and spoke badge, right? And then they got to get, and then it goes over to backyard chickens. They got to get their chicken badge, which chicken foot badge, which is just like the beef symbol. So over to cooking oil. What I could see this morning, and lucky thing I got up super early, was a reference to Hulu, and this is something our Green Party member, Bob Jacobson, he got the groundwork started for, Ripley Smart's compost facility that she could run over there. She's running it on county property, and then where other people have to buy their own industrial site. And it's the same thing with the cooking oil. I heard Greg Ford say, let's give up that up there on that county property. So all of you people in politics, you are giving yourself a tremendous advantage when you use your political power. You're abusing your political power by providing public space for private enterprise. And all of this stuff, and again with the agenda, it's like, this is so out of sync. So we are, if I wanted to see the end of this argument today, I would have had to stay home, and I wouldn't have been able to testify. So everything is out of sync. I mentioned that to Jamaica Kauchi at the beginning of her term, right? She goes, Jerry, I think I got a surprise for you. I can't tell you what it is, but obviously the surprise was, we're going to continue to keep you in the dark. Mahalo.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Let's move back to Hilo. Go ahead, Nora. Your next 2 testifiers, please.
Our next 2 testifiers is R.G. Hampton, speaking on several items. Resolution 308-12, Draft 2, 313-12, and 323-12, commenting. And also on bill numbers 306, 333, 266, Draft 5.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Go ahead, Mr. Yoshimoto.
When will you be taking a break? Because I want to hear Ms. Hampton's testimony, but I think I need a 5-minute break.
Why don't, yeah, there's a lot of items here. I think we're ready for a 5-minute recess as well. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's take a 5-minute recess and come back to Ms. Hampton's testimony. Thank you. We're in recess. Thank you.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Okay, folks, this concludes part 1. Let's start an upload and start a new file. Aloha.